Um, First, we'll start this webinar with a Qiraat by Assistant Professor Anwar Pasha sir. Sir, please. Anwar Pasha sir.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon to all. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أفحسبتم أنما خلقناكم عبثا وأنكم إلينا لا ترجعون. فتعالى الله الملك الحق لا إله إلا هو الرب العرش الكريم. ومن يتبع الله إلها آخر لا برهان له به فإنما حسابه عند ربه إنه لا يفلح الكافرون. وقل رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. صدق الله العليم. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Anwar sir. Thank you so much. May the God bless all of us. It is a welcome address that, yes, I need to be one to present the welcome address as well as the speaker introduction. It is, I'm really proud. I'm really proud to be acting as a moderator. Let me introduce myself. I'm A. Mohan Sundaram, Assistant Professor, Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. First, I would like to welcome our Honorable beloved Secretary, sir. I'm very proud. I'm very proud to welcome our Secretary, sir, because see, whenever he gets some tips about electrical engineering videos or some content related to the electrical, immediately he shares to us. We share it in the students' WhatsApp group, and it makes that how much involvement he has over the students' knowledge. So I'm really very proud and share this information because it is not happening 1 or 2 months. It is, and for entire career in my career actually, and more than 5 to 10 years when since we are using WhatsApp and as a communication medium. So he never stops it. He never stop sharing that information, sir. I'm really proud and happy to share it this time. And also, many times whenever he goes to Kelakare for some admissions, you have seen I've got a very good feedback that some of the Triple E students have given a wonderful feedback. He stayed there. I heard that they have given a very good feedback about the department activities. So I'm proud to share it also. So whenever he goes to foreign and some he met some Triple E students there, some of our AMSC students, and he got excited and I mean proud to share that information. Thank you, sir. Sir, you are welcome, sir. Secretary, sir, we welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to welcome our trustee administrator, and of course, all of us know he's our root, and the AMS root. Actually, we could have seen that is 24/7. He's there in the campus, and he always supports the teachers and students for their knowledge enrichment. I'm really proud to welcome and happy to welcome our trustee administrator, sir. I welcome you, sir. And third, I'd like to welcome our respected principal sir and vice principal sir, IPSC director and department head. And personally, I welcome our department HOD and then Professor Rajesh Khanna and my faculties and also the head of departments of other branches. I welcome you all and all the senior teachers and teachers and proudly my beloved students. I welcome you all for the session. And let me go before the speaker introduction, that is for the session. I would like to say a few words about our EEE department. You can also see the visuals later on. And I'm proud to say our EEE department is #1 in Tamil Nadu by doing the best projects over the decade. And it is well exhibited by Times India rank in 2019. Not only once in a year, actually 2019 as well as 2020, we are number one department providing electrical engineering. That is AMSE is proud of it. And, our students, our triple E students, they all well placed all over the world, not only in India, all over the world, actually in many countries. And because many students are working in a well reputed institution because of the knowledge they gather through the laboratories and from the teachers as well as from the project. I'm really proud to share it. Okay, with these few words, I would like to I would like to give a brief introduction about the presenter today. Engineer S.K. Sadiq is the presenter today. He is a lead engineer, Word and Power India Private Limited, Bangalore. I'm proud to say he's in one of the top posts in the company. And also, I would like to say that he is an alumnus of 2009 and 13 passed out from Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. He also completed a master's degree from CEG, College of Engineering, Anna University, from 2014 to 17. And later on, he make a MEP as his career, and nearly 8 years plus experience. He has a wonderful industrial experience in the field, so that he is being invited to give this presentation to the engineers, because the MEP is the core branch which actually needed for particularly for all the core engineering branches such as electrical, mechanical, and civil, along with ECE and computer science branches also. I welcome Sadiq also, and with these few words, then I would like to conclude my welcome address, and I'd like Sohail sir to present play the video, department video.
We are sensing the speed from the motor rotor shaft by means of inductive proximity sensor. It is connected to the Raspberry Pi GPIO. Here programmed to calculate the RPM. Now you can see the speed ranging from 1400 to 1500.
Okay, it's fine. And the video, I mean, it's a short video, might have told that how the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering over a period established various achievements in the national level competitions and won prizes. Even we get felicitated by the Honorable Chief Minister as well. So it was a great success of the Department of Electrical Engineering in the providing project-based learning. Really happy about it. In fact, the presenter SK Sadiq also, the alumni of our college and students of our department is really proud of it. And it is time that engineer SK Sadiq, you please take the mic.
Professor Monasundaram sir, sorry
Yes, sir.
interrupting you. I wish now you welcome our secretary sir to say some words about the alumnus sir, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, I request you, sir. Sir, secretary sir. Sir, secretary sir.
I think sir is there.
மியூட்ல இருக்காங்களா?
Hello.
Sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon,
Thank you,
sir.
Sadiq. I am really happy because you are participate our alumni meet and also
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
really congratulations. I seen all the last events of our TEE department, what
Yes.
they were done.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Really, they have to achieve more and more because our college is always more than 20 years, 25, 24 years we are running a college. Alhamdulillah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Everybody with cooperation, we are going to be succeed everything. Alhamdulillah, cooperation means we are in the one family. We are going always. AMS is always one family.
Yes, sir.
Not thinking about the student, not thinking about the professor, not thinking about the management. Everything all together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So our
This
students
COVID
started,
time,
sir.
though this COVID time, everybody is provide the mask and everything to take precautionary action. Alhamdulillah, in family and also yourself also. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yes, Engineer SK Sadiq, please carry on. Carry on. So we are waiting for your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. I hope and I believe like everyone can hear me.
Yes,
So my
yes.
voice is clear, right?
Yes. It's audible.
Oh, all right, fine. Sir has given me given a quick introduction about myself, and I'm from the same college, Ali Muhammad Saleh College of Engineering, and I'm from 2009 to 13 batch, and later then I just did my master's in Power Systems Engineering. So I did master's in part time because I was in my career. I was just doing I was working as a project engineer in Hitachi. That was my first job. So then later, like I just shifted to the next company, and now I'm working in the fourth company in Bangalore as a lead engineer, where I'm handling a team size of 15 people there. So for my project, so only for my project, like I'm handling 15 people. Like other than that, like there are like many other teams which are working for different domains and different projects for different countries. So here I am today to just brief you about what is MEP and what is BIM. So because you might have seen the poster, they have written something like MEP and BIM. So today I'm here just to give clarity or a basic information what is MEP and what is BIM. Because before when I started my career, even I was not aware about what is MEP and what is BIM. Because as how like we come out from the college, we will be thinking that either we have to go for an IT job, or else we have to go and join a call center, or else like where we have to search a job. That was the greatest question mark, and that was the biggest problem of every engineer. After doing like 4 years of engineering, they were not knowing like where to go and get placed, what kind of opportunities are there, and everyone are thinking like only few companies are there for electrical engineer, or few opportunities are there for electrical engineer. And there is one scenario which has been created by many people, that there is no job for an engineer. That is the fake. I want to never agree that, and I don't want to never agree that, because there are like n number of job vacancies are there for an engineer. I can say here like a skilled engineer. The market is looking for a skilled engineer. There is a lot of difference between an engineer as well as a skilled engineer. There are like 5 lakh more than 5 lakh engineers have been like coming out from college every year. But if you see like everyone are skilled enough, that is the greatest question which we have here. So we have to look forward like what kind of skills we are carrying out from the college, and then what kind of opportunities are there. So here I'm just going to bring friend an MEP as well as BIM, which completely comes into construction industry, because many electrical engineer and mechanical engineer as well as like EC engineers and civil engineers, obviously they know that they have opportunities in the construction industry, because obviously they will be just going and doing their job on construction side. But the equal opportunities are there for an electrical engineer as well as for a mechanical engineer and an EC engineer, but that many people they doesn't know. They will be thinking that hey, I have to go with the embedded system, or else hey, there is opportunity only in PLC, or there is an opportunity only in what is the oil and gas sector. So many people they will be flying from India to other countries. So even that is not required. Even the people they are well paid in India when compared with other countries. That many people they doesn't know it. Fine. So we will discuss about this later. Like if you ask many questions, I can help you out in this. So before that, I will just share my screen to show my presentation here. So I believe you can see my screen. Are you able to see my screen? So can you please?
Yes. Yeah, it's visible.
All right. So yes, I have just given this introduction to you, and I will just directly jump into like what is MEP. See, MEP is something like everyone, see, few engineers they know, as well as few people they know like MEP is something like mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and there is something called as a firefighting in this. So why we need this? What an electrical engineer, or what is the role of an mechanical engineer, or else and civil engineer is going to take part in this MEP? How we can get placed in this? What kind of opportunities are available? So for that, first we need to understand what this is. So an mechanical engineer or an electrical engineer or as an electrical communication engineer, they can get placed in any one sector, or else even they can just take as an MEP engineer here. So in mechanical, if you see, there is something called HVAC. HVAC is nothing but heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So some people, they might have a question, why to fix an air conditioner we need an engineer? So we are not talking about a small room air conditioners here, or is like a small AC which we fit in our home. No, we are not talking about that here. We are just talking about something like, for example, if you take a shopping mall, like many people, they know Express Avenue here in Chennai. Once you enter into Express Avenue, like a shopping mall, inside it, you will feel still comfort, still if the shopping mall is like completely closed. There is no chance of outside air can enter inside your shopping mall, but still we have a comfortable breathing zone. How we are making that comfortable breathing zone? So comfortable breathing zone is nothing but inside a shopping mall, if there are like 1,000 people who are occupied, all the 1,000 people, they will be exhaling carbon dioxide and they will be inhaling what? Oxygen. After a while, what happens? The oxygen level inside a closed space will get decreased, will get suppressed there. So the carbon dioxide level will get increasing inside your shopping mall. So what happens? You won't feel comfort even if you have the less temperature. So air conditioning is not something like only maintaining a temperature there, but still we want to maintain the comfortness. Or else, even if you take an example of your lab, since we are all of students, like definitely we will be knowing. So in your computer lab, when the computer lab starts, like we will be having computer lab for 2 hours or 3 hours. So once you are entering into a computer lab, we will just turn on the systems and then we will be turning on the air conditioners there. So after 15 and 20 minutes, some students, they will feel a headache. Some people, they will feel vomit hesitation. Some people, they won't and never feel comfort inside an air conditioner space. This is because the oxygen level inside the room has decreased, because all the 40 or 60 students will be exhaling the carbon dioxide and inhaling what? The oxygen. So what happens? Obviously, your oxygen level inside the room will get suppressed, so you tends to inhale the carbon dioxide. So based on the immunity level, some people, they will get headache, some people, they will get vomit hesitation. So the same guy who was having a vomit hesitation or like headache, once he come out from the lab, he will forget that he had headache, he will forget that he had vomit hesitation, he will forget that he had drowsiness. Why? Because we are in the open fresh air zone there. So this comfortness we have to create even in a metro station. There is like underground metro station in Chennai. You might have seen there are like many underground metro stations are there. Even when we are traveling in the underground metro station or inside a metro train, we are still feeling comfort. Who is doing this? And mechanical engineer as well as an electrical engineer. It is a role and responsibility of an electrical and mechanical to take care of us. And electrical part, when it comes to electrical part, if you take any building, any shopping mall, or whatever the building type it might be, definitely we need to get what? We need to get the energy approval from the government. Nowadays, the governments are very strict that you have to get the energy approval. Without getting an energy approval, you can't get any power supply from your government. So if you want to get an energy approval, like how I have to do, what are the things I have to consider, how I have to do the load scheduling, and even like many electrical engineers, they might be knowing something called power factor. So we have to maintain the power factor of a building. If I'm not maintaining a proper power factor in a building, definitely what happens is the losses will be more. If the losses are more, even we have to pay for the losses. We have to pay for the losses, obviously, because nowadays we are using what? We are using smart energy meters. Since we are using smart energy meters, even if you have connected the charger, which has been not used there, so definitely what happens is like even those will be sensed by the smart energy meters. So how we are going to minimize the energy requirement there? And like plumbing, so many people doesn't know, like many people, they're thinking like why we need an engineer for plumbing, because like for plumbing, obviously like, we will get in mind we need a plumber. So here it's not a plumber job, it is an engineering job. Example, like if you have like 4-story building, 4-story building or 4 floors, so the pressure of the water in the 4th floor, the pressure of the water on the ground floor, it has to be same. In the olden days, like if you see, if someone opens a tap in the ground floor, we won't get the same pressure in the 4th floor, we won't get the same pressure in the 3rd floor. The water pressure will be like different. So whatever the building height it might be, we have to provide the proper water supply, and we have to provide a proper drainage system, and we have to calculate the pumps, and there are like many things which we have to do. So the MEP is completely into the construction side. So what I'm trying to say here is like an electrical engineer and mechanical as well as an EC engineer, they have equal opportunities as how an architect and civil engineer they are having in the market. So what we do is actually, this is the step one. An architect, what he does, like he will be preparing these kind of layouts, and they will be just giving these layouts to a mechanical engineer, or as to an electrical engineer, or as a plumbing engineer, or a firefighting engineer, whomever they might be. Once you get this drawing, our thing will be like, first we have to select a system in the sense like we have to do the HVAC layout. So here, whatever the lines you are seeing, the red lines and blue lines, these are like HVAC ducts. The HVAC ducts, these has been like designed and modeled by a mechanical engineer as well as an electrical engineer and an electrical and communication engineer. So whomever they might be, like they can do this. For this, actually, there are some calculations and we need to follow some standards. We can't do as it is. So there are something like NBC, National Building Codes, IAPMO, and we have something called ISHRAE. There are like set of standards for this, set of procedures through which we can do these kind of designing. And the same when it comes to an electrical part. So you can see here, see a fan, a light. See, I have just taken a basic example here. Don't think like to fix a fan, to fix a light, do we need to do we need an electrical engineer here? For your better understanding, I just brought this into a picture. Just compare this with a metro station. If you just go to a metro station or a shopping mall, there you can find like many lighting fixtures will be there. There you can find many electrical loads. So how we are going to combine them, how we are going to control them? If there is any fault in a light fixture, how we are going to isolate it? Or else if there is any fault in one electrical equipment, how we are going to isolate it? And if I'm going to design an earthing system, and how we are going to design an earthing system, what kind of earthing system that do I need to design for a building? Or if I want to select a transformer, what kind of transformer that I have to select? So these are the knowledges that we need to have to become a good electrical design engineer in this field. And the same. So these are like an overview of your MEP. So as I just like given some example basics to you, and then the next topic which I was about to talk here is like building information modeling. So I can talk more about this than MEP, because MEP is just a part of BIM. BIM is a technology, or else I can say this is a process where we can get all sort of informations of a building. Because like if I'm going to construct a building, if you just consider our college itself, if I want to do the construction of my college, I can't do the construction only with a civil engineer or an architect. An architect as well as a civil engineer, they both, what they can do is they can just construct an ideal building. Ideal building in the sense they can construct walls, doors, windows, and everything. Apart from that, like if you want to make the building for 100% utilization, we need to have proper ventilation, we need to maintain, we need to have proper electrification, as well as we need to have the proper water for drinking. For drinking, as well as the proper drainage system has to be designed. Without this, even if one system fails here, if I don't have a proper electrical design, if I have too frequent breaker tripping, or else like if I have just started an air conditioner where the temperature is too less, where the people they can't able to sit inside, or else the air conditioner which I have selected here, which is not maintaining the proper oxygen level, again after having a system, we are not maintaining comfortness. So we are bringing this MEP as well as BIM services to a building to maintain the human comfort, right? So this is what here I can say. So in BIM, we have till 6D level of designing. So here we are doing till 3D and 4D, 5D, 3D. Yes, this has been like even like we have till 7D designing. So till 7D designing, like yes, we are using 2D or nothing but just an AutoCAD drawing. So we will be just doing like a XY axis, and 3D, I can just show some images to you. So 3D will be like this. So this is the latest trend, like which software we are using here is called Revit. So previously the people, they were using AutoCAD software. Now the people, they are using something called as Revit software, where they can do all 3D drawings like this. And also like if I want to show something here, you can see the AutoCAD ducts. See, this has been modeled by a mechanical engineer as well as an electrical engineer and EC engineer only. This is not done by any like an IT engineer here. So this has been done by a mechanical as well as like an electrical engineer. Fine. See, these are the things. So if I want to do the construction, as I told you, this is the college. For example, if you can say this is a college, inside a college, if I want to implement these many services here, I need to have a proper coordination. Nowadays, you can see the construction phases, the phases are like very faster, very quicker. You might have been surprised to see like 10 years before, if someone wants to construct a house, it will take 2-3 years. Nowadays, if you see, if someone wants to construct a house of 10 floors, within 5-6 months, they are constructing everything. Why? Because we have a proper coordinated drawing. So since we have a proper coordinated drawing, yes, what we can do is we can do the construction in a faster phase. Here, I want to just bring a notice to you people. Last year when this COVID situation happened in China, uh, like everyone knows, they have constructed a hospital in 8 days. Like I believe like everyone are aware about that. How they constructed this only because of these kind of softwares, this kind of BIM software. With the help of this BIM technology, they have just designed the hospital, and now the latest trend we call like prefabrication buildings. Prefabricated buildings are nothing but we will be having like a puzzle. So nowadays there is no like a brickwork, or no, they are not doing that. They are just doing like prefabrication buildings where they will bring just the parts, they will assemble on the building, and that's it. So the building which is taking like a year to construct, here within a month or within 2 months we are constructing everything. That is the construction fastness which has happened because of this technology, because of this BIM as well as this MEP. So I want to show some electrical here. So you can see these are like electrical panels, and then here you can see some cable trays. So, and then this is an example of an auditorium. See here you have an auditorium and you can see the ducts here. So this is the realistic views which we can get from your BIM softwares. So yes, we can do this with that. And you can see the plumbing as well as the piping system, how they have created the drainage system, everything in this. And then now I just wanted to speak here something about how this field is. So if you see in the year of 2000, the construction percentage. So you can ask me, right, like what is the job opportunity? You are saying something about MEP and BIM. So what is the job opportunities that we have in the market? So in the market, if you see in the year of 2000, we had construction phase only like 3%. You can see in the year of 2016 how the construction has been increased. The construction percentage is like 10%. So, and mechanical engineer, electrical as well as easy engineer, they still have 10% of job vacancies in the construction domain, which many people they doesn't know. They will be falling under some PLC, SCADA, and in other domains like in oil and gas sector, and then some IT sector. So if you ask me like what is the job opportunities for an IT guy or else for a guy who works in BPO or something like that, there is only 8% of job opportunities are there. And the people they will still say like it is very easy for me to get a job opportunity in an IT sector rather than my core field. So in a core field, you have like 10% of job opportunities in construction field, and then 12% in the manufacturing field. Still again, yes, here the electrical engineer will be considered and mechanical engineer will be considered here. So overall, if you see, we have 22% of job opportunities, and then now this BIM and MEP has been used in greenhouses too. So even you can just say like this 14% in agriculture. So if you add this 14%, so if you see 22 plus 14, you have more than 36% of job opportunities in the market. But still, if you find many people, they are jobless. The people, they are jobless only because I can say they are not having proper skills. With the proper skills, with the proper approach, for sure, yes, you will get a job very easily in the market. And here I want to highlight you something. Here, I'm not working for one company in Bangalore here. I'm working for more than 14 to 15 companies. How come a single engineer can work for 14 to 15 companies if there is no job vacancies or no opportunities in the market? That is what you have to think here. So I'm just working as a freelancer for many companies here in Bangalore, not only for one company. One company I'm just doing my full-time job, and otherwise like I'm working for more than 14 companies here in Bangalore as a design consultant. And as I can say like as a design consultant I'm working, and even I have my own company. I will just share my own company at the end of the day, like at the end of the session. Like I'll just say my company name. I don't want to reveal much here. So if you see here, this is the latest of like in 2021. This is the latest view. So construction percentage has been increased 1% more. So we have total of 11% of construction. So now tell me like either we will get the job in this construction field or not. So this is where like many people they doesn't know. They are thinking that yes, we will be getting job only in IT sector, or like for after doing like electrical engineering we have to go to only electricity boards, or no. There is 10% and 11% job vacancies are there in this construction field. That is where I wanted to just highlight here. All right. And the designations as well as the job posts, how it will be like this. So designing, drafting, execution, and maintenance, these are for engineering role. And for the diploma students, so the technician, helper technician, senior technician, foreman, this comes for the diploma category. So here if you see, if you just take like design engineer, so design engineer will be starting his career as a trainee as an assistant designer and the designer, senior designer, manager, and consultant. Consultant is nothing but in this we have a beauty that you can start your own company after 5 years or after 6 years after gaining some good experience. Yes, you can start your own company and you can give job for 10, 15 people. That is where your vision has to be. The vision has to be like you have to become an individual contract, you have to become an individual consultant, or you have to become an individual contractor. Not like every time we have to take our resume and run behind the companies. No, we should not do that. So that is my ultimate agenda and ultimate vision, that I have to give opportunities for many people. So that is my ultimate agenda here. So if you're starting as a drafting is nothing but they will be supporting the design engineer. The design engineer, whatever the calculation he has done there, so the drafting engineer will be using some tools like like this. So these many tools we have here, like Revit, AutoCAD, Naviswork. So we have many different softwares. So the people, they will be using these softwares to bring them in reality like this. So the drawings, the design engineer will be doing the calculation of what should be the pipe size and what should be the flow and how we have to take the pipes and everything. He will be just guiding the drafting engineer. So the drafting engineer will be bringing everything on the drawing, on the paper. So this thing, whatever they have done on the paper, will be executed on the site as an execution engineer. And once execution is done, the whatever the services they have designed, it has to be well maintained, so that they will be just giving this to the maintenance engineer, or else I can say this as a facilities management. So in each and every domain, you have these many openings and these many opportunities are there. So this is what, like, if you ask something about like what is BIM, so this is what about. So you can get like all information from a single model, the cost, the time of construction, and what are the services we have, what is the total amount of material we need, and what is the sustainability of the building, and you can visualize. That is the first thing. We can even like we can visualize like how the building is. So this is what all about like a BIM as well as your MEP. So you can ask any questions that you have.
Yes, it is well and good. I think it is concluded, Sadiq, actually. Yeah, it's very short and sweet, and the very good information is, yes, you have a distinguished engineer and a skilled engineer. That's very interesting, actually, it is, because that is the factor that is unknown by many of the graduates. So that there
Sir,
are.
sorry for interrupting. Like here, that is a scenario which has been created everywhere. That after doing engineering, you won't get a job. So if the people they have created that scenario, like after doing engineering, you won't get a job. That is really a fake one. That they are like degrading the students' mind actually. But to be really very frank and honest, there are like more job vacancies are there for an engineer in the market. That is the reason I just highlighted here. There is a lot of difference between an engineer as well as a skilled engineer. It is not that 100% or every engineer will be skilled once they come out from the college. What they are making, what efforts they are making to become skilled, that is most important here.
Yeah, it is time. Dr. Ram Kumar, sir, your question, sir.
Very good morning, Sadiq. I'm Dr. Ram Kumar from Mechanical. Am I being
Yes, sir.
audible?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have only one question.
Please.
There are a lot of people who offers this BIM or plumbing and electrical work. But
Okay.
if you take NDT Lichfield, there are some authenticated certifications are there, like ASW, ASNT, like.
Mm-hmm.
So likewise, is there any authenticated or very good certification is there? So because many of our students were asking where to study, but there are a lot of centers who offers these courses. But is there any official or directly industry related or industry needed software or courses certification available?
Yes, sir. See, if you ask me that, like, there is something called IGBC certification, Indian Green Building Council certification. So yes, you can just take an examination by paying 3,500, I believe. So you can just do that examination there. And then like there is something called ISHRAE, ASHRAE exams. Yes, you can just even take that ISHRAE, ASHRAE certifications too. But if you see here, like there are, yes, I agree with you that there are like many institutions which are there here in Chennai as well as all over India. But the real fact here is I didn't find, even I'm a trainer. I will be giving training in many places because I like to give training. So I have given training in many places and in many colleges too. So I have found one thing there is like in some training institute, the previous batch student or else the two batch before previous student will be the trainer there. So what an engineer is going to learn from him? That is a question mark. So when you opt for a training or when you're looking for a training center, you have to look for the quality, or else like you have to look for a person who is going to give training to you. So if you look for that, then definitely yes, you can learn many things from him. So what I'm trying to say here is you have to look, or you have to get a training from a people who are really working from an industry. So if you get a training from them, you will be knowing all the glimpses of like what they have to do, what is the real-time market, and then they can get aligned to the market. So it is very easy for a fresher to get a job or get a placement, sorry, and everything.
Oh, what that certification you told, what is the name? National Green Building and
IGBC certification is there. IAPMO certifications are there, and then ASHRAE certifications also you can take. So IGBC is like a 3,500 you have to pay. For 3,500 they will give 2 chances, I believe. So you can just take that certification. And for ASHRAE examination, again it is like 5,000 rupees which you can pay, and you can just take that examination. So for that you need to have the basic understanding of HVAC concepts first. So if you know how the HVAC system works, then you can take this examination very easily.
okay. Sadiq, thank you. It's much clear now.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Sir, sir.
Sadiq sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Sir, we are the teachers of our AMS College first year physics department. I belong.
Okay.
And on a kind question from your side. So what is the reality of getting job for engineers in India and abroad, especially in engineering field?
All right, that's really a very good question. And see, sir, like I started my career in 2013. Okay, like even like when I started my career, I was like even like I searched for a job, and I started my career with 5,000 rupees. That was my first month salary. My first month salary was 5,000 rupees. So what happened? Like many people, they will be looking at the salaries. They won't take the opportunity. This is one thing where many engineers, they are not getting job. So they will say like after doing engineering, why I have to work for 5,000 rupees? Why I have to work for 8,000 rupees? So there is some background. If you can mute, it will be easy for me to convey. Yes. So yes, like see, like my first month salary was like 5,000 rupees. I'm not saying like every engineer has to start their career from 5,000 rupees, but what I'm trying to say here is like they have to get the opportunities. They have to take it up. But many people, they are denying it. They are saying like after doing engineering, why I have to go for 5,000, 6,000? See, like I started with 5,000 rupees there. Now my salary is somewhere around like more than a lakh in a month. I'm just earning like more than a lakh in a month in my core domain. That is, I'm very proud to say and very like honored to say like, yes, I'm earning like more than a lakh in my core domain in India. The same, many of my friends, they were working in Gulf country. They just went there. When they went to Gulf countries, sir, I'm saying this very frankly to you, they made fun of me. They made fun of me stating that, hey, what you're doing in India? What kind of salaries you are going to get? See, we are getting like 80,000 rupees, 90,000 rupees there. They went there, they flew to India, they just went to other countries. Now, literally, they lost their job. They are crying like anything. Many people, they lost their job, and many people, they didn't pay it for 10 months, 8 months. They lost their salary for 10 months, 8 months. So this is the scenario when compared to India as well as Gulf countries. In Gulf country, the market is very dull. And if you see in this MEP field and BIM field, there is I'm just comparing with the Gulf country because many of our students will be flying to Gulf country, to Dubai, to Qatar, to these people, to these places that many people will be flying there. There I can say like there is the job opportunities, everything is being like saturated. If you see in India we are getting like many new opportunities and many new openings are there, and people from other countries, they will be looking towards India because in India we have more resources and more manpower. Since we have more manpower and more resources in India, definitely in India the opportunities are more when compared with other countries. And that is what I'm trying to say here is like we need to be skilled enough to take the opportunities, and we need to identify the right opportunity and right thing where we have to work. So the differentiation, the people they need to know.
Fine.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Taha Nooreen from second year Triple E department.
Good.
I have a question for you. Okay,
Okay.
so you're telling that working in abroad and working, the differences in working in abroad and India. I have no experience, but I have read about people who work in abroad and in India. So whereas in abroad, like if you're a student, you're gonna pursue your master's degree and you can work as well, because there in abroad you have your own timings. You can set your own timings and as well as work in your uh, core field. So it's easier, right? Like I'm not talking about like Gulf countries, whereas in Western countries you have the opportunity to work in your core field as well as study, do your master's degree or whatever it is. So it is easier. Whereas in India, there's a lot of pressure. You have that particular 9 to 5 job, and then doing your degree it's going to be hard. Am I right?
Yes, that is completely agree with you. See, I'm not comparing any Western countries here, because like our people, like our students, like mostly they are like attracted towards the Gulf countries. Since they are attracted towards the Gulf countries, I'm just talking only about the Gulf countries. I'm not talking anything about the Western countries here. So if you ask me something about the Western countries, yes, definitely there you can do the education, and yes, you can work there too. But when you go with an as a student visa, then you are not allowed to work there. So you can just do your pursue your masters, and then after that you have to vacate from there, and then you can re-enter. So
Actually,
this
you
you
can
can
do
do.
part-time in the core field.
Yes, you can, but that is what I'm trying to say here is like you are in student visa. When you are in student visa, you are not allowed to work there. So there in many countries.
Officially, you're not allowed to work.
Yes, officially you're not allowed to work. So if you get caught by them, then it will be a problem for you. So my intention here, like what I was trying to say here is like our people, since they are attracted to the Gulf countries. So I was just comparing with that,
Okay.
not with the Western countries here. So if you ask me like how this BIM as well as MEP will be helping your career. So if you go to Western countries, if you go like any Gulf countries, or if you go any part of the world, definitely the construction has to happen. Wherever the construction is there, this MEP and BIM will be alive. That is what I'm trying to say. So how like until this earth exists, the electricity exists here, water exists here, the same this MEP and BIM will be existing. So this is what I can just give clarity. So this automation field and everything will go like upside down, but this construction field, till the construction is happening, definitely this BIM and MEP will be there for sure. So there is no doubt. That is what I have just shown you here in a pie chart. In 2003, how it was. In 2020, how it is. In 2000 it was like 3%, and now it is almost like 11%. So you can see a drastic growth of 8% in this. So that is what I was trying to say here.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for your information.
Thank you.
Fine. Sadiq, there is one question from the student side.
Yes.
He has not mentioned his name.
Okay.
He is asking what are the additional softwares we can learn with MEP course, sir? He's asking what are the additional software that is designed we can learn with MEP course, sir. This is the question he raised.
See, in MEP actually, you will be learning some softwares like for HVAC. There are like many softwares for designing. So that depends again from country to country. If you see like in India as well as in Gulf country, we are using something called HAP software, Hourly Analysis Program software. And if you see in US, we are using Trace 700 software. So if you see Trace 700 as well as HAP software, both are same, but to their requirement, to their standard, they are using Trace 700. In India as well as in Gulf countries, we are using HAP software. So like this, like many people, in each and every subjects, there are like many softwares are there. In electrical, if you see, we have Dialex, CGLX, and then we have Relax software and ETAP. So electrical transient analysis program. So we will be using this for short circuit analysis, power load calculation analysis. So there are like many softwares in this. So if someone is interested, like I can just give the list, I can email them. So what are the softwares that they want to learn? I can do that, because here like we are running out of time. So that is the reason, like if I start listing the softwares, it will go like a list. So I can just email that. So if you are really in need.
Yes, sir. Sadiq, that is another question from Idayatullah, sir. I think MEP and BIM. is the best way to enter the holistic engineering job in India as well as abroad? Is right? Is it right? He is asking. MEP and BIM, the best way to enter in the holistic engineering job in India as well as abroad. Is it right?
Yes, it is obviously right, but if you ask me like which is more safest place, like I will say like India, because in abroad, like in Gulf countries, it is like a saturation point. There is no new job opportunities are there in Gulf countries, and yes, in India, like we have many job opportunities. And one more thing here, in the year of 2014, see, no countries have BIM standards. I will tell you, in the year of 2014, only UK government made BIM a standard. After that, like everyone started to move into 3D modeling. So now whatever I have shown you here, presented here, everything are like 3D modeling. So these are like 3D modeling. So now in the upcoming month, like in the July month, we are expecting that USA as well as the Dubai, these people, they are going to make BIM a standard in their construction field. Once they make this BIM a standard in their construction field, definitely there will be like more and more job opportunities will be available for an engineer. So I can say like in India, yes, as well as in abroad, you will be having more job opportunities, holistic job opportunities in this for sure. That is what I'm trying to say, sir. Like until the construction is there, until the construction exists, definitely these two fields will be existing.
Sadiq, there is another question, nice question raised from the participants, and the name is not full, but the question is quite interesting. In India, has low construction sites, large buildings compared to the abroad, then we have opportunities for engineers. Shall I repeat the question again?
No, I got it, sir. I got it. So
Got it,
for this, I can say, like 5 years before, have you find and see, for not 5 years, I will say 10 years before, like we will be saying LAC is the tallest building in India. Like in Chennai, I will take. In Chennai, we will say like LIC is the tallest building. Now just go and identify like how many high-rise buildings are there in Chennai. If you take a tidal park, so the construction of tidal park is not that easy. There like how many IT offices are there. So if they want to construct that big IT park there, IT hub, so definitely this BIM and MEP services are required. And if you see like how many metro stations we have now, so how this metro station has been constructed. So definitely if the construction phase is increasing, you will be having more and more opportunities in MEP and BIM. So you can just compare like what 5 years before how the construction was, for now in till date, like how the construction is. You can see many bridges, you can see many like airports, you can see like many metro stations, many tunnels. So everything has been constructed with the help of this only.
Yeah, it's fine. And okay, then the next question raised from Mohammad Hidrish, and architecture student. It's fine to see that this workshop is participated with architecture students also. I'm happy. And the question raised, yes, I am architecture first year in our college. Okay, I need to know what all are these softwares will be useful for the architecture. And
for an architecture, yes, I can say like 3ds Max, and I will say 3ds Max is there, Google SketchUp and Revit software, and Enscape. Enscape is a software which is being used for rendering. So if you want to do a good rendering, so we will be using something called Enscape, because nowadays you can see, right, the people, they are constructing many apartments, many villas. Before doing the construction, they will show, hey, your bedroom will be looking like this. Hey, your building will be looking like this. This is how the elevation will be. So everything, they are showing some realistic images there. So these has been done with these softwares. So Google SketchUp and so there is SketchUp Pro, and I can say like Revit, 3ds Max, and Enscape. So these are some softwares like yes, where you can learn, where you have to be expertise in this.
Yes, and I think another nice question raised from the student side, sir,
Yes.
is this true in MEP field? There will be no increase in the salary for the first years of our job.
Yes, initially, like as I told you, like I started my career with 5,000 rupees. Now I'm gaining like earning more than 1 lakh in a month, which means like obviously like you will be having see, not only in MEP, if you enter into your core field, you won't be getting like that handsome salary in the initial days. Okay, in your core field, initial like for 2-3 years, there will be a struggle. Till I don't know either you people believe or not, like till 2017, my salary was like only 18,000-20,000 rupees. 18,000-20,000 rupees my salary was, and after like if you see now 18, 19, 20, in 3 years it went somewhere around like more than 1 lakh. That is what I'm trying to say here. So you will be getting a drastic change after third year. that I can say. For initial 2 to 3 years, you will be having a greater struggle in your career. I'm not saying this is like a white collar job. Hey, I did the course here. I just studied MEP. I'm going to sit in a company. I will get 25,000. No, I'm not saying that. I don't want to give any fake promises or fake commitments to any people. I'm just trying to say, like, for 1-2 years, you will be having a greater struggle. After a struggle, you will be having a very fruitful year, which I'm enjoying now.
Yeah,
Since I'm enjoying, I'm sitting in front of you people and I'm just giving a webinar. Here's like why I will be coming in front of you people. Because in IT, I will say you, I will just compare this with, I don't want to hurt anyone here, but I was just trying to say is like in IT domain, what happens like initially you will be getting some good handsome salaries. So you will be getting like a 25,000-30,000 rupees, where a mechanical engineer will be thinking, hey, I should have taken IT here. He is getting like 25,000. I'm getting like only 8,000 rupees or 12,000 rupees for which I have to run. But yes, like obviously what happens to a mechanical engineer in a core domain, after like 5-6 years, if you have worked in your core domain, you have opportunity, you have a chance to start your own business, man. That is one good thing which you have to look in this in your core domain. I have seen many engineers, many people, they started their own consultant, they started their own business, and they are like very successful too.
Yeah, it's fine. Actually, it's another question that is raised from the student side. Sir, can you please tell me more about BMS? Actually, because they felt it is, I do not know, a short it is, and he is asking some shorter form in the BMS.
See, BMS, yes, I can. See, I am talking about BIM here. BMS, again, it comes under BIM only. BMS is something called as Building Management System. Building Management System will be completely coming under your facilities management. So facilities management is nothing but once the construction phase is done. For example, if you take the same, like a EM Mall, Express Avenue Mall, after the day of handing over the project, after the construction is done, they have hand over the project to the client. After handing over the project to the client, they have to maintain the building in the same way how they have handed over it. They have to do the proper maintenance there. And you might have seen when you enter into the shopping mall, the doors will be automatically opening there. So for this, everything, yes, we need to do the proper maintenance. We need to have the proper surveillance. So if there is any fire inside the building, like where the fire is, what is happening to a building. So we need to have a complete management system. This is nothing but your BMS. So BMS is a part of BIM only. So if I just speak about BIM, it will take more time, sir. So that is the reason like I just cut shorted here and I just gave only like what is BIM, what is MEP, and when. That's it.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, this is Mohammed Tawfiq Nasser of Mechanical Engineering third year from Ali Mohammed Saleh.
Okay.
Actually, I have a small doubt regarding the previous thing you said. Like after doing our bachelor's degree, we can enter into the field of business. So I have my plannings to do a MEP and Revit. So after doing that, how can I start a business? In which sector can I start a business? Like business in the sense, should I start an MNC company or like what, sir?
See, that again, if you ask me, I can say like you will be working as you will be becoming. That depends on how your contact circle is. See, if you have a very good contact circle with the foreign countries, and if you can able to get the projects from them, then you can just run a very big business there. So if you don't have much contacts, see, in this business, there is the only thing which will be helping you is a contact, right? Because you need to get a project. See, I have, for example, I'm just opening a fruit stall. I have apples, I have oranges, and I have some fruits here, but I have no customers. So what will happen there? Definitely, like everything will gone waste. So it is not that I have skills so that I will get projects. No, nothing like that. I have skills. I need to know how to do marketing. I need to know like where I'm doing marketing. If I'm doing marketing only inside India or only in Chennai, so you will get the projects only in Chennai. So you can just do a only small scale business there. If you can able to do the marketing throughout India, you can do the project throughout India. If you can do the marketing outside the country, then you can do a very big business there. That depends on how you are thinking and what is your vision and what is the context that you are carrying with you. That depends here. I think the answer is satisfied to you, or like still I don't.
Yeah, the answer was satisfied, sir. And I have one more doubt, sir. Like in my mentality, like after doing my bachelor's degree,
Hmm.
if I join a company for 4 to 5 years, I work over there, get the experience over there, have an idea how they're working, then with that ideas and tips, can I start a company? Will it be like useful after spending my 5 years in some other company and then starting as a business?
Again, I will say you like even if they go for 5 years, even there are like many people who have like 50 years of experience, but they are struggling to start their company. So it is not that like you have to compulsory work like 5 years and then you have to start a company. The place where you are working, what kind of skills that you are developing on you, like what kind of knowledge that you are gain. See, if you are starting a company and if you doesn't know like how to do the negotiation is nothing but like if I'm getting a project, you might not be knowing like how to quote it. If you're not knowing like how to quote a project, then how you are going to get a project there? That is a question. So the 5 years of experience or 2 years of experience or 10 years of experience, whatever it might be, like what you are going to learn. So what skills you have gained here. So that will be helping you to start a company. So you need to like expand. You need to like think very wider. So what if I get a project, like how I'm getting a project? What are the efforts that the company that they have made? For example, if you're working in a company, like first thing, it is not like I got a project, I'm just working on a project on whatever the task that manager has assigned me, I'm working on it. No, you have to just go like pin to pin. Pin to pin is nothing but how this project the company got, what kind of efforts the companies they have made, how they have just made the negotiation. So that you have to learn that if you want to become a very good businessman, then you need to have a very good negotiation skill, and you need to have very good communication skill. If you have very good communication negotiation skill, that is much sufficient for you to get a job, run a business. So these are like different skills which you have to gain and which you have to improvise yourself, and then yes, you can think about starting your business.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So one more doubt. Sorry for disturbing you again and again.
No. You can ask many questions, but the thing is like
he requested more questions actually. He's waiting for more
so
questions.
you can just give my number to him, like you just let him trouble. Like I will just answer him.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Sir, actually the doubt is like Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, I just forgot. Yeah, sir. Like whenever we go for MEP and the weight, as per our seniors' knowledge, like these sectors are very well in Middle
Gulf
East
countries, not in India.
Middle East countries. Like Saudi, over there, Dubai and all. Like there is that's a developing country, so we'll have our sectors more over there. It's useful over there. The doubt is like, what about India, sir? When will they come over with this developing, sir?
See, that is what like I just explained before also. Now, if you see, the construction growth in India is very drastic. So in the last 10 years, in the last decade, like if you see, there is a growth of 8% in India. So if you see, we have more land to construct here. So if you see, the construction and many investments will happen in India when compared to other countries now. Because if you see in Dubai as well as in Dubai, we don't have a place to construct. Do you believe that? In Dubai, we don't have a place. We have to make some landscapes and then we have to construct on it. If you want to just go to Google and check it, like you will be knowing like if we have. So in Dubai, if you see, mostly the projects are happening is renovation work. So they are like renovating the buildings. These kind of works which is happening in Dubai. And if you see in India, like we have many large space, man. Like here, if you see the construction is growing like anything. Since the construction is growing in India, so we have good opportunities in India.
I think one more doubt, Sadiq, is as he's keep raising his hand. Students from the student side. I could not see his number. It's register number 4041. Could you please ask your doubt? Okay. That is register number 4041 because I could not read your name. Please
So
unmute.
yeah, I raised my hand previously, and thanks to Sadiq sir, I got my answer. Yeah.
Fine. Okay, fine.
As he said, it would be great if I get his number for some contact. If it's okay for Sadiq sir.
There is not a problem for me.
Fine. And another similar question is, sir, I'm yes, he's actually he raised the question earlier from the BARC, and still I have 4 years to complete. I am first year student. I am still 4 years to complete. But the countries are developing. so fast. So after 4 years, what is the status of job opportunity, and is there will be any good job opportunity in our country? Because now it's yeah, it's very nice.
Definitely, the answer is here. The answer is here.
Yes,
You
yes.
can see the screen. The answer is here. So you can see what was in 2000, what is in 2016. So in the next 4 years, definitely the construction phase is going to increase. And if the construction phase increases, then the resources and manpower requirement will be more. And the requirement is more. For example, for sure, the job opportunities will be more.
Fine. I think Idris, you might have satisfied with this answer. Yes. Any other?
Because he needs to be very happy that the college is conducting a seminar or a webinar in his first year itself. Because like for us, when we were doing, like, we will be like very hard to, because the college was trying to give many opportunities for us, but it was very difficult at that time. Now the platform is very big. Now as like internet has been increased, and the communication sector has been increased. So now we are very easy to communicate everything. Previously, when we were doing like in 2009 to 13, that time like we were like not knowing much about this, but now I'm very happy that even a first year student is getting awareness about what is BIM and what is MEP. So next 4 years he can plan his career. Okay, he has fixed something now. Okay, I want to get into BIM, so I want to just develop according to it. So it's very good opportunity for him.
Fine, fine, fine. It's nice to hear. Okay. Sir, any other doubts from the faculty side? Any other doubts from the faculty? Shall I conclude the questionnaire session? I'm happy to receive so many questions from the student side.
Sir, Professor, before you conclude.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello, Sadiq. How are you?
Yes,
this is
Assalamu
Dr.
alaikum,
Afzal.
sir. I'm
Walaikum
Alhamdulillah.
assalam. Walaikum assalam.
Our principal, sir. Yes. Welcome, sir.
Sorry, due to some technical problem, I could not join in the starting.
Alright, sir.
But it is really one of the prestigious moment for us. I can see the faces of the electrical faculty members glowing by the way you presented here. Starting from skilled engineer to HVAC, heat ventilation AC, and also how it is used in the metro stations, Express Avenue, and of course the hydrostatic law, pressure distribution in the buildings.
Sir,
Everything.
sorry to interrupt, sir. Like I'm an
Yes.
electrical engineer. Trust me, I'm very good in thermodynamics now. I'm very good in fluid mechanics too.
Very good, very good. That is what the need of the hour is. Even our MHRD is also telling, AICT is telling, just to answer to the Taha's question. Taha was telling she wanted to do interdisciplinary work. Now that in future, in about 3 to 4 years, not only in Western and European countries, in India also they are going to introduce that. While studying, you can do different platforms of your wish. It is not necessary that's what our new education policy is also telling. So Taha, don't worry, when you come out of the college, you can go into interdisciplinary also. And to your need, you can study and work also. That is for sure. And to be frank, Sadiq, really very happy.
Thank you, sir.
And the main thing, I could see the guesswork of all the students in this batch. I think they all are very much worried about their futures, and very happy to note that engineers are going to have a very good future. Definitely, when we say they won't accept it, but when this person from the field is telling, definitely we are going to cut this and post it in our website also, that there are going to be a lot of jobs for the future engineers. And
Yes.
I don't know how many civil engineers are there. They will be very happy if any civil engineer is attending this webinar. It is really very happy situation. And I wish you all the best, Ma. I wish you all the best.
Thank you,
And
sir. Thank you so
before I conclude, everything depends upon where there is a will, there is a way.
Exactly, sir.
So you must have a need and urge to excel. We are preparing engineers, skilled engineers. You have to come forward. We are giving some basic trainings in the colleges. It's not that we are not giving. We are giving CAD training, Strat Pro, all that we are doing it in the campus. But as a student, you have to come out as rightly said by Sadeh, skilled engineers have 100% job opportunities. So it is your responsibility to come out as a skilled engineer, and to do that, whatever help is required, we all the faculty members are here to help you out. Definitely we'll be doing that. I wish you all the best for your future, Sadiq.
Thank
May
you,
Allah
sir.
provide you all the health and wealth.
Thank you,
Inshallah,
sir. Prince
your numbers of salary should reach to 6 digits, 7 digits, sure.
Already, I'm going for 6 digits only. So 6
That's what,
plus 7,
7,
I
8,
believe.
7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. Inshallah, all the best.
Thank you
And
so much. Thank you so much for that.
don't forget to visit the campus whenever you come to Chennai, and be
Sir,
in touch with. You're in Chennai only now.
I will be in continuous touch with Mohan Sundaram sir. So I will be like now and then calling him and I will be speaking with him. So I will be in continuous touch with sir. So
Very
every
good.
time when I get some free time, like I will just give a call to him and I will just asking some feedbacks. So I'm still in touch with the department too.
Be in touch with the alumni team also. Alumni
Sure.
batch is also there. Right, all the
Inshallah.
best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Our principal, sir, and sir, vice principal, sir. Could you have some words on this webinar conducted, sir? VP, sir.
Professor, thank you for the opportunity, Professor.
Yes, sir.
I must have to say a few words about Sadiq. The first, when he said about good afternoon or assalamu alaikum, the slang, beautiful. The presentation overall, alhamdulillah, it was very nice. Definitely, the students will know the importance of presentation and how to use the language to the convenience, and also it was very clear also. So the slang was so good that it was looking like a foreign this one, and but even then it was very clear to me. So thank you, it was nice, and definitely the presentation was up to the mark, and I must thank you that you have taken some time and you have presented for almost 1 hour, a big thing, and it was not boring from the beginning till the end. It was interesting, and as our principal sir was saying, you are apt to the topic. You are talking about mechanical HVAC. Many of the students don't know what is HVAC, the importance of HVAC, and you gave them very clear picture where it is used. So I think the students will know now how to use all the knowledge about HVAC in various platforms, and mostly in civil engineering. Electrical, as you are the student of electrical, definitely you must know more. But when you said thermodynamics, I am a teacher who was teaching thermodynamics from the beginning of my career. So at least you have put a light on that. So thank you for that. And I like that. Plumber. You said no. Plumber na ellarum plumber na nenichipanga. But when you said what is plumbing, it's all about civil. That is hydraulics and all those things. So it was nice of you. And when you touched about BIM, beautiful. You gave a real picture in a simple manner. You took some layout and you spoke about MEP and BIM. So good, so kind of you that you gave a good presentation. And I saw some students also of mechanical. Shriman Pandi from EC roll number 51 was there. From Tripoli, of course, students were there. And the faculty is almost from HOD of mechanical, Dr. Satish sir, HOD of CSE and EC, Salma madam sir, and Rajan sir, HOD of course of your department, and my colleague and my own friend Dr. N.R. Shankar, the director of IQAC, Amanullah sir, Maideen sir, Rajesh Khanna sir. We had Dr. Salim, the admission officer, because the role of the admission officer is to prove the world now that if you do engineering, there is job. So this, I think this session of yours will make Dr. Salim sir's work easier, because in civil itself, you said that 10% job is there for all the engineers put together, and 34 is the maximum if you can of other departments other than civil department. If you take the work of other engineers are there, so this will make the work of Dr. Salim sir also very easy. Then I saw Kadar Sahib Marikar sir, Kalima Begum madam, and our own PRO Govindan sir was there. Jafar Ali of mechanical department, who is taking presently thermodynamics for the students, all were there. So it was very interesting, beautiful presentation. For all these things, I must first thank my secretary. So he said one family. We cannot forget his statement. It is not just from the mouth, it is from his heart. It is one family. So you are also our family. So with rights, I can say thank you. So you also belong to our family, and we also belong to your family. I don't know whether you know me. I was also a teacher when you were studying your engineering here. I am Professor Dr. Muhammad Shabir. I was mechanical HOD that time.
Sir, I met you. Sir, I met you personally many times. I have came to college, and even I have given a seminar for mechanical department in 2017. 17, 18, I have given some seminars in mechanical department too.
And
Thank
thank you for that. Thank you. Then I would like to thank and now say, remember here my trustee administrator. He will be proud of you. He will say, no, what are you doing with the students? Definitely this session, we can say our trustee that no, yeah, we are producing engineers, no, of good quality. So that moment you have given us. So thank you for that. And I must, thank you. I must also thank the principal here who from the beginning, sir was saying what was your presentation, and always with a smiling face to all the students. So definitely in making you, his part is also there. So we are proud of you today. So overall,
thank you so much.
I must thank the department, Rajesh Khanna sir, Mohan Sundaram sir, and Professor Rajan sir to make us such a good engineer. And I also remember here Professor Murali Krishna sir. So a nice person. So including all these persons have made you, and today you have made us proud. So that's the overall thing what I want to say here. Thank you.
Thank you
And
so much, sir.
and we wish that you do many more webinars, and to all the students of mechanical, of electrical, and separately also it's okay for us, because you must have time for that. That's more important. So thank you.
Sir, I can do for my college. I can take some time for my college. Definitely, I will do.
So kind of you. Thank you. So thank you then.
Thank you, sir.
Social responsibility also.
Yes. Last, before I end my this one here, last thing, because some students are asking me always where to do MEP course. I used to say some addresses, because you are working on that and you're earning also more. May I know which is the best institute to learn MEP and BEAM?
Myself, sir.
Okay. Then okay. Sir,
I can tell you, because sir, like I'm saying, because here there are many institutes which are like nowadays they are making business. See, once a student is walking into an institute, they are charging like 35,000, something like that, and they are just giving some training. That is what I told you, right? Here I have seen many places where the training has been given by the student itself. So if a student is giving a training to another student, what he is going to learn that when he has not seen like what HVAC is, when he has not seen like what BIM is, what he is going to train another guy, like that is which the people have made is business. So if you need for any support in training kind of thing, like in HVAC, BIM, or whatever it might be, I can take some time and I can do for my college for sure.
Okay.
That
so,
assurance I can give, sir. Yes, sir.
Sadik, that is very nice of you. And definitely we'll plan for this. Mohan Sundaram sir and all the civil mechanical HODs will sit and discuss, Rajan sir, what best can be done and how your expertise can be used. According to your free time, we'll plan it. Definitely, that will be better.
So and one more thing I want to just add here. Along with me, like I have just made my own team of 15 engineers. So we are of like 15 engineers now as a team, as working as a freelancers. So in my team, there are like 15 engineers, like who they are like making. See, many people, they will be having an intention of just making money, but my intention is not making money. My intention is like sowing many seeds in this MEP and BIM. And I want to just highlight one more thing here. I have trained more than 1,000+ students in this MEP and BIM.
MashaAllah. Very good.
Very good.
So I'm giving training in this.
You are replicating the AMS campus. What we do, you are doing there. Small mini campus you had started. Very good.
Yes, sir. So like from the year like 2016, I just started giving this training. So till now, like I have a very good student profile, student data with me. Like I have trained more than 1,000 students for sure. That is, like I'm just giving a rough estimate. I have trained more than 1,000 students. So per month, I will be training more than 50 or 30+ students. So if you just do a rough calculation, also it will be reaching more than 1,000 students.
What will be the duration, normally? Normally, what will be the duration? Suppose if I say 3 hours per day, if we plan, what will be the duration of the course?
Sir, like that again depends because like in this MEP we have 4 subjects like HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and firefighting. We have 4 things in this. So some people they will go only with HVAC. Some people they will go only with electrical. Some will go with only plumbing and firefighting.
Okay,
so
we'll talk this in detail.
Yes, sir. That will give clarity to you in personal, so that when someone is asking, like yes, you can just plan for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think if everything is okay, we can conclude. Mohan Sundaram sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And definitely, by receiving all your words from principal and vice principal, and looking this session starting from the beginning to the end, and probably this make quite interesting. And I think the mechanical engineers as well as civil engineers, they are very I mean, they are actually given a wonderful feedback. That is how the presentation is been held, actually. So it's very nice, Sadiq, and I'm really
Thank
proud
you.
of you. I'm really
Thank you,
proud
sir.
of you, and I hope so. And the training may be needed for many of my engineers in my campus. So I look upon your support for making skilled engineers from AMSC. So
Sure, definitely, sir.
yes, thank you, Ma. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation and participation on
Thank you, sir.
teaching your college. That is where we have learned, actually. So it's finally, I would like to ask our department HOD, MS Rajan sir, to deliver a vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
is it audible, sir?
Yes, sir. It's audible.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Sir, it is very much happy to convey the vote of thanks. Because I'm feeling our student is a presentation. I don't have any words to say, sir. Very much happy, sir. Happy and proud. Proud. Now, on behalf of our department, Electrical and Electronics Engineering Department, first of all, I would like to thank our secretary and correspondent, Alajas Segu Jamaluddin sir, for permitting us to conduct this our webinar. Next, I would like to thank our trustee administrator, Janab Sheikh Ataullah sir. And next, I would like to thank our principal sir, Professor Dr. M. Afzalil Beg sir. And I would like to thank our vice principal sir, Professor Dr. Muhammad F. Shabir sir. And next, I would like to thank our IQC director sir, Professor Dr. N.R. Shankar sir. And very importantly, I would like to thank all our HODs, head of the departments, because they have given the full support and the cooperation, and then they are given their ideas for this wonderful webinar. So I would like to thank all our head of the departments, and also I would like to thank my faculty our faculty members, students, and participants. And very importantly, I would like to thank our Sadiq, our engineer SK Sadiq, for his wonderful and informative webinar. Because these days the job opportunity is very important. Now he has opened the way to, because he has very clearly mentioned that our engineers, they should not be engineers, they must be skilled engineers. So we have to underline the word skilled engineers with this take home message. So our engineers, all the engineers must be skilled engineers. So we have got a take home message from our engineer SK Sadiq. So I would like to thank our Sadiq for this wonderful webinar. Thank you, sir. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Shall I, sir?
Yes, sir.
I'm very happy, sir. Let me to conclude the session. I'm very happy because in the Corona pandemic time, it is the every doors in the classrooms are shut down, and I'm proud, and honestly speaking, that is EMS is doing a wonderful job in online class. I'm really proud to share. And the students' participation, if it's good, the teachers will do miracles. So, and thank you for all. Thank you for all participation. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We conclude, sir.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you.
So, participants, I kindly request you to please fill the feedback form of the session that is available in the chat box. So, kindly you could fill the feedback form. So, participants, kindly fill the feedback form, and please send to us. That motivates us to proceed further, actually, in future as well. If you need any other specialized things, we can also arrange. Thank you, Swadik. Special. Fine, Ma, you have done it wonderful. Wonderful presentation. And, really cool. Thanks, Swadik. Okay, sir. Rajan sir, shall I conclude?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We wait a discussion, sir.